What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 182, and we start today's episode off by looking at the successful negotiations page here. As you can see, there were a lot of players that left the club, but there were 7 players that joined the club as well. 6 of those, a whopping 6, came in on deadline day. That was in the last episode. If you didn't watch that, I'd recommend going back and watching it. It's the most active deadline day I've ever done on YouTube, and it was crazy how many players got signed. But here's a look at the squad report, and you'll see the league table in just a moment's time. And as you can see, a couple of players that did come in on deadline there are already increasing in stats. Ryan Sarr and Sonny Mari Williams already up by 1 rating. They've only been here for a day, less than that. And yeah, it was an expensive transfer window for us, to spend over £50 million in just such a short space of time, really, and so much of it being spent on deadline day as well. The big bulk of it being spent on deadline day. It was expensive, but as I didn't mention in the last episode, and I'll say it again, I do believe that these players are going to come good. I'm not expecting players like Proctor and Abita and Myrie Williams to be in the first team, straight off the bat, and probably, for a long period of time, really. But they're definitely going to be good cover players for us and squad players. Here's a look at the league table as well. 14 games to go for us, and we're 3 points behind United in 4th, and they also have a game in hand on us, and so do Liverpool and Spurs, who are behind us by 1 and 2 points respectively, which isn't great. But yeah, I'm confident those players are going to come good. Rani Yunlu was £17.5 million plus Coquelin, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be a great holding mid for us throughout the entire series. And Ryan Sarr coming in, making his debut in this game, so would Yunlu as well. He can play left back and centre back, and his stats as well. I could possibly try him out in the holding midfield position too. He does look like he could play there, despite that not being listed in his positions. I'm confident these players are going to come good for us, and I've said it many times before, when you join a new club that needs so much restructuring, I always say that it's just as important to restructure the reserves and the bench as well as the first team, because when you can get your wage budget and your wage bill down from what it previously was when you arrived, with so many players on high contracts who aren't in the team at all, getting younger players in on long-term contracts, those 4 or 5 year deals, means they won't need to get a pay increase, even though they'll be asking for one, even when their ability gets better and better as they begin to develop. So it's the best way to do things, really. It's to completely restructure the entire team. It's always nice to show loyalty and keep those 30 plus rated players in your squad, even if they're not in the first team. But when they're on high contracts, it's, in my opinion, best to shift them on and look for younger players to develop. But that's just my opinion. Still, it's going to be a really fun challenge here at Arsenal. I'm already enjoying the start, and hopefully you guys are too. Still, we take on Spurs for the first North London derby of this series in today's episode in the first game, and the first chance did fall to us. Mesut Ozil shot going just wide of the post, and then Danny Welbeck's strike was well saved by Michel Vorm, as it was still goalless in this game. And of course, this was being played in the FA Cup. This is an FA Cup 4th round tie here at Wembley. Of course, in real life, Arsenal are the FA Cup holders, and this year, well, our main objective is to finish in the top 4. Our secondary objective is to win either the Europa League or the FA Cup, so winning a trophy would be lovely. But coming into this game, I would give debuts to Ryan Sarr and Rani Yunlu to see how they would do, and Sarr did actually hit the bar there in the first half, almost getting his first Arsenal goal. Sadly for us, though, he was denied by the woodwork, and in the 45th minute, Rodrigo Lazari takes the ball around Eric Dyer and strikes it, but Vorm makes the save and it's cleared away. So Michel Vorm, of course, the goalkeeper for Spurs now, after we signed Lloris to Paris Saint-Germain, our former club. Vorm was denying us on a couple of occasions and really beginning to frustrate me. On the stroke of half time, Ozil does find Rodrigo Lazari, who takes it around Eric Dyer again and shoots, and again it's Michel Vorm pulling off a very good save. So the Dutch goalkeeper just would not let us score in this game, and it was still goalless. And from the corner, Mesut Ozil swings the ball into the box, looking for the head of Danny Welbeck. It's headed away. Eventually, though, it comes to Giovanni Dos Santos, and Dos Santos gets tackled by Kieran Gibbs. Gibbs plays it to Ryan Sarr. Sarr finds Callum Chambers. Chambers to Ramsey. Quick passing here. Lovely ball by Aaron Ramsey. Welbeck is onside, and he can't hit the target. And again, another great chance goes begging. So in the first half, it was all Arsenal, but we just couldn't find the back of the net, and the frustration was evident. And in the second half, just past the hour mark here, Curtis Obeng goes down the right hand side and finds David Silva. The former City man crosses the ball in towards Etienne Capoue at the far post. It actually comes to Lamela instead, who plays it inside towards Etienne Capoue, and his strike is well saved by Szczesny. So a good chance for Spurs there, one of their very few chances in this game, but it was still goalless. And in the 69th minute, Santi Cazorla plays the ball forward towards Danny Welbeck, who takes it around Fazio. He strikes it, and again, it's another save for Michel Vorm. So Vorm just having a fantastic game for Spurs, just would not let us score and was determined to keep a clean sheet and send this game to a replay. But in the 79th minute, as Lazari robs Moussa Dembele, he goes down the left-hand side, takes it around the Belgian midfielder and cuts inside and scores as well. And Rodrigo Lazari makes it Arsenal 1, Spurs 0. And I don't know why, but we once looked at this guy at West Bromwich Albion and we knew how good this guy could be in the future. He does have the potential to be special, which is of course 90 plus. Arsenal ended up signing him ahead of us, and I don't know why, but the AI manager Arsene Wenger just has not been playing the guy at all. He gets his first goal in the FA Cup, and honestly he's barely had any appearances here at Arsenal. He wasn't in the first team, the first 11 or the bench when we arrived, the default team management screen. He was in the reserves way down the list. I've came in, I've put him in the first team, and you know he's looked pretty decent in the games he's played, but in this one he does get his first goal for us, and he makes it Arsenal 1, Spurs 0 in the North London derby. And we do hold on to win the game by a goal to nil as well, so we're through to the FA Cup 5th round. Delighted with that. Again, the league is the most important thing by far. Qualifying for the Champions League is a must. It's a massive high priority. It's something we just quite simply have to do. And you know, but regardless, when we have our first North London derby, even if it is in the FA Cup, which I'm not going to be too focused on, we are still going to be desperate to win it. I mean, I've obviously managed Spurs a couple of times on YouTube, and I've always been so determined to make sure North London won't be red and Spurs will be the better side. But of course, now managing Arsenal for the first time, whenever we have a North London derby, whatever competition it's going to be in, there's going to be an added edge and incentive to the game, you know. So I was very pleased to get a win there, and we are through to the FA Cup 5th round. Still, we take on West Ham United for the second game of today's episode here, back in the league, as you can see by the table. I showed you at the start of the episode as well. We are 3 points behind Manchester United, currently sitting in 4th place, but they do have a game in hand on us as well, as do the teams below us too. So it is going to be a frantic finish to see who does finish in that final Champions League place. I can see 3 teams going for it on the final day. I don't think it'll be 4 any more than 3, but definitely 2 teams going for it on the final day, and probably 3 in all honesty, because there are some very, very good teams in this Premier League. And of course Arsenal right now, as I mentioned before, you know, they do have a pretty good side, but it still does need a lot of work, let's just say that. But regardless, we do take on West Ham here. They are currently sitting just above the relegation zone, so I definitely fancy my chances coming into this game. And the first chance was falling to us, but John Ruddy, of course, starting for West Ham in this game, who we gave to West Ham United in exchange for their younger goalkeeper who's on our bench, was going to be desperate to prove me wrong and have a great game between the sticks for the Hammers. And he did make a couple of great saves early on in this game, but from this corner, well, you know, he made a couple of good saves, but you got to say he's probably at fault for this goal, and we can celebrate because Laurent Koscielny does score for us back in the team. I rested him for the game against Spurs, gave Ryan Sarr his debut, but Koscielny is the captain here at Arsenal, and I'm not going to take him off captaincy duty just yet, even though I do have a future captain in mind, because he probably will be leaving next season. And he does get the goal here and breaks the deadlock. John Ruddy came out for the corner, got nowhere near it, and Koscielny said thank you very much, I'm going to make it 1-0. So Arsenal 1, West Ham 0. Kieran Gibbs then went quite close here with this corner finding its way to him on the edge of the area, and his half volley went over the bar. And you can see another good chance here as Lazari and Alexis Sanchez link up here. Lazari takes it around Moncur, just pushes him away, but the shot is well saved by John Ruddy and turned behind for another corner. So Ruddy did make quite a good few saves in the first half. He was desperate to make sure he could show us that we've made a mistake in selling him. And in the 45th minute here, Callum Chambers shoots, and again it's Ruddy making the save. So you know, John Ruddy was just doing everything he could really to basically just say, even if I was on high wages, I was still proving my worth to the team. I'm showing you right here. Koscielny almost got his second goal there. His head hit the top of the bar and went over the bar for a goal kick on the 45th minute. So still 1-0 to Arsenal. But to be honest, regardless of whether Ruddy was having a great game or not, the fact of the matter is we were looking so dominant, and it was only a matter of time before we would score our second goal. And as Ruddy made a good save there, West Ham failed to clear it. It came back to Aaron Ramsey, who took the initial shot, and the Welsh midfielder made it 2-0 to Arsenal. So Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. Ramsey with the goal, and it was a simple finish once the ball came back to him. The shot was well saved by Ruddy, but there's 3 West Ham defenders there getting in each other's way, and it just goes straight to Ramsey, and it's a simple finish. So Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. We knew the 3 points were going to be ours, to be honest, after we got the first goal, because West Ham barely had any attempts on target in the entire game. And in the 89th minute here, they give the ball away. Sanchez goes through one-on-one, great chance to make it 3-0. Ruddy does stop him from scoring, but it falls straight to Lazari, who puts it in and makes it 3-0. So Arsenal 3, West Ham 0. I got very, very lucky there. I know I tried to round John Ruddy like I usually do when I go one-on-one with a goalkeeper, messed it up. Ruddy made the save, but very fortunately for me, it fell straight to Lazari and he could not miss the open goal. So final score, Arsenal 3, West Ham 0. A very good result, and we're going to need plenty more of those if we are going to get ourselves back into the Champions League places and complete the aim of getting Arsenal back into Europe's most prestigious competition. competition. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, and I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.